I want to make a quick case for the 17th on the Wolf Full Moon. I was listening to my playlist, that crazy music playlist of 60s, well, no, really 70s, 80s, 90s music. And we don't like the music industry. We don't want to support the music industry. We don't want to, can't help but support, I guess, the evil in the world. But you don't want to pay homage or give them any credit. But music is something that gives us some tells along with the movies, and I just seem to be drawn to it. There's certain music I will not listen to, like I'm not going to listen to Marilyn Manson. And I thought about Antichrist Superstar, and I asked Michael on the way. I called him on the way to Whole Foods while listening to my playlist, and I paused it and called him, and I said, "That's an interesting to look up," and he looked it up. And Antichrist Superstar album was released, he said, on October 8. Oct means 8 because at one time it was the 8th month, so it's a sneaky way to say 8. It was released on October 8th, 88, which is also when No Time to Die came out. So yeah, but I was thinking about my playlist, and I was like, that all began with me watching this full moon rise. It was kind of an old full moon. Um, let me look real quick. June 2021 calendar, because this was on a
Showing pictures that match.
This is on a Friday night after eating with my stepdaughter down in Miami. Okay, so it was on, golly, could that thing be any more fuzzier? It was on the 25th, and the tower had just fallen. Those towers had just fallen. When I went down there, I didn't even know about these towers had fallen. It was like all over the news, and my stepdaughter was talking about it, and I was like, what? And when I checked in and all that, was not aware of it. So, and remember, her numbers got the 88 along with the 86. By the way, she was born at 8:08, like AM or PM. I remember that from my astrology days. So she was born at 8:08. And the reason why the 8:08 popped in my mind was because there was an 8:08 in tonight's Bible study. Everybody. No, it wasn't. It was something else that I looked at. Tonight's Bible study had the 88 and the 89 in it, oddly. But I saw something. I saw the 8:08. Maybe it was me clicking to see what time it was or something. And I was like, that's when my stepdaughter was born, 8:08, I think AM. And so she's just full of the whole Trump thing. And I went down to visit her when that tower fell. Again, 886, go to visit 886, and a tower's fallen. Granted, I arrived the day afterwards. Granted, we went to eat dinner the day afterwards. Saturday, I did my own thing and then ate lunch with her on Sunday. Horrible beach in Key Biscayne. It was weeds everywhere. So it's nothing but weeds. It's not a great beach. But when the moon's coming up, I was thinking about going and get my phone and using my music box and listening to music, watching the moon rise. Because I drank, half a bottle of wine, and we split a bottle of wine. I don't drink anymore. But that, I'm sitting on the beach and I want to hear music because that's what alcohol will do. It'll really exacerbate things like that. Because you now entered into the spirit world. That's why they call it wine and spirits. So I'm glad the Lord has pulled me out of that. And not because it's a sin to be drunk. It's an unforgivable sin to be drunk. You don't want to die in that. It says drunkenness, fornication, wrath, strife, variance, emulations. It's all in Galatians 5:19 through 21. Those that do such things shall not inherit the kingdom, it says. So the Lord will pull you out of like drunkenness, getting drunk. You won't get drunk. You want to sip on something, sip on something. You will notice a difference though. And I gravitated towards music, of course. I think we all do. And so I started that playlist, and I was listening to the playlist, and I was like, yeah, the moon, you know, these are the songs that you want to hear when you're on a beach and the moon's rising. Right. And my first song was Sitting on the Dock of a Bay, and it's the number one, you know, it's up there at the top of it. It's not my favorite song, but it was just what, you know, it's the first song on the playlist. And I was putting these to Facebook, and then I later decided to make a YouTube playlist out of it. So I'm listening to it today on the 5th, and I'm like, full moon. That was the full moon in Capricorn, and just the opposite is the full moon in Cancer, which is the wolf full moon. That tower fell on a full moon. I was like, okay. Or I thought the full moon was like a few days before it, quite frankly, until I just looked all this up. So I said, maybe he goes down the exact amount of time, because it's exactly the opposite full moon. It's the exact opposite. Capricorn to Cancer, they're complete opposites. And Cancer is the only zodiac sign ruled by the moon. All the rest are ruled by so-called planets. We know there's no planets, there's just fixed stars and wandering stars. And I was like, okay, so you've got the full moon in Capricorn, and we want to relate it the exact, because remember when I sat her mom down, told her I wanted a divorce, the 86 and of the 88, when I sat her down, it was August 2nd, and the divorce occurred on the exact opposite day of February 2nd, Groundhog Day. Remember, text to Trump is 88022. The 802 is right in the heart of his text to Trump. 802 is right in the middle of it. 88022. So the day I sat her down and the day of the divorce, 22, are right there in text to Trump, along with 88, which was, I've shown y'all many times, that was her next marriage progression number to me. And this numbering system is nothing you get from the occult world. It's nothing the fallen angels have shared with anybody we've seen on YouTube. You can't get it on an internet site. You can't see it in a book. It's all done with multiplication and progressions off of it. So I got to thinking, okay, well, since I went down to see the 88 or the 886 and the tower fell, remember the street addresses were all like 88th Street where it went down, and, you know, it was just nuts. The whole thing. Remember, I did videos while I was down there on it from my room, and then came home and did more. We can go back and revisit them. But maybe this weekend I'll scroll down and try to find them. But my point is, this is not going to be an exact opposite calendar date. And I actually thought about that when we got toward the end of December, because that would have been an exact opposite calendar date. You know, late June, June 24th. Oh, that'd have been December 24th. Well, okay. And so it ended up being, yes, June 24th. I looked it up, and I looked up the calendar. It was on a Thursday, and I arrived on a Friday. So it's the full moon in Cancer, exact opposite full moon. I'm backwards. This was the full moon in Capricorn. And this is going to be the exact opposite coming up, the full moon in Cancer. And Cancer is ruled by the moon. And Trump is the moon child, born on a total lunar eclipse. Angel White, you know, the AI Angel White, YouTube did all those videos calling him the moon child. Well, if you're a Cancer, you're called a moon child. Why are Cancers called moon child? Cancerian moon child. Then you get on over here to Angel White. I don't even know why I bothered. I should have just typed it in. Donald Trump moon child. Donald Trump moon child part 2. So it's that you get one full moon in Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, a year, and it's the wolf full moon. And it's the exact opposite moon of the tower falling, not the exact date. This is the exact opposite moon. Cancer and Capricorn are opposites. So he could go down on the 17th and rise on the 3rd day. Well, guess what that is? The day they're going to crank it up. How fitting that they're going to crank it up on the day he would rise. Did we find our date? We may have. Absolutely, we may have. It may be on MLK Day, Monday, Wolf Full Moon Day, which, boy, that would really help the rioting, wouldn't it? That it's MLK Day and he goes down. That would only exacerbate or multiply or put an exponent on the anger, the division, and the chaos. What do you think? I don't know. We might be onto something. All right, love y'all.